the Baltimore Ravens always seem to get it done in the draft. Like, it doesn't matter what year it is. Like, they always draft well. For instance, they got Kyle Hamilton to fall to him last year. And it was just, it's frustrating. But I do think that, with only a couple of selections in 2023, they're going to have to, do a little bit of maneuvering and to be able to make a dream draft scenario happen, which is what we're touching on this year, or today, excuse me. There's going to be a lot of things that have to fall into place. But I think it can happen definitely for the Baltimore Ravens. So today we're going over the dream draft scenarios, what it's like. What's the dream? Love it. A+ draft. What do we think is going to happen? And then finally, what is the worst case scenario that we see for this respective team? So we're going to go back and do it. This is not a mock draft. I know we get a lot of flack for it, but this is, again, not a mock draft. So we're going to go ahead. The Ravens sitting at 22 right ahead of the Vikings. We're going to go ahead and start the draft, mainly because I really don't see the Ravens trading up in any capacity. Now, holy cow. Like, Joey Porter Jr. just fell to you at 22. Holy cow. Wow. That's kind of really good luck. So you just signed OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., and there's still, even though they signed OBJ, I would still really like them to maybe get a guy in, like, I don't know, like the third round, third round, the guy like Jalen Hyde or somebody if he's there. I would really still like them to get a guy kind of that a little bit late, because I want him to kind of develop into that guy after OBJ leaves, because this is really a one-year deal. And so for the dream draft scenario here, this is it. Joey Porter Jr. falling to you. Like, this is just typical Ravens fashion. You get one of the top corners in the draft class to fall to you, and it's just nasty. So, but also, again, I don't see the Chargers maybe going Nolan Smith here. Where did the quarterbacks go? So Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, that checks out. Jalen Carter, yeah. And again, it really does depend on where the quarterbacks go. So Joey Porter Jr., man, that's... Part of me wants to trade back. So the dream draft scenario, if Joey Porter Jr. falls this far, I think there's no hesitation. You take him, mainly because you've got teams like the Vikings, like the Jaguars, like the Giants, like the Cowboys, all want a corner here. So you might see a team that wants to trade up here, but it's not worth it. Yeah, Joey Porter Jr. is that dude, and you go with it from there. Now, into the third round, after that, then you can really start to potentially get a wide receiver. I definitely think there's still some players that you can go after that you're okay with seeing go to. So first round, I mean, Joey Porter Jr., you absolutely love to see it. Ooh, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker would be a lot of fun. So Dwayne McBridge, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, we got there's still some players on the edge here. Now, throughout the rest of the draft for the Ravens, this could be pretty interesting. You can help out that edge position, the wide receiver, particularly for me. I really feel like Kayshon Boutte is there. Marvin Mims. Ooh, Marvin Mims would be nasty. I think if this was for how the board to fall. Oh, we forgot to touch on what we think is going to happen. I think that the Ravens could either go wide receiver or corner at 22. Still wide receiver, yes, even though they signed OBJ. What's the worst case scenario that happens at 22? There's a early run on wide receivers and potentially corners, and then you're forced into a spot where you have to address another position, maybe trade back, which might end up being a blessing for the Ravens if they don't want to go edge. They can get a little bit more compensation and still go get a really good corner, a guy like Cam Smith in the second round, which would make a lot of sense to me. So even though it would be the worst case scenario, I think it would end up working out for the Ravens. So now, what's the dream draft scenario from here? Personally, I really don't like any of these guys. Like, we already addressed corner. I'm not really that crazy about doing it at 86. I think trading down here, maybe to like 93, that would be probably perfect. You gotta be able to give us a little something though. Can we get 132 and 145? I doubt it. I mean, it's worth a shot. What are they going to say? No, right? So, yeah, then you get a little bit more picks here. You're back into the third round. And then I think you could legitimately go after guys like Marvin Mims. I think he's that small wide receiver in the middle of the field that's going to stretch the field. You absolutely love it. Kayshon Boutte is also there as well. Keon White, I think, just screams being a Raven to me. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. You could also go Zach Harrison, Jaden Reed's that big, fast guy, Trey Palmer. This is probably, in the third or fourth 4th round for the Ravens. If you want to go wide receiver, I think that's the perfect spot. What do we think is going to happen? Probably wide receiver. If corner is the first need, that's taken off the board. Wide receiver still could be in the 3rd round. Again, because OBJ is only going to be there pretty much for a year, you still want to have a guy you can develop into being that dude. And then finally at edge or some of these other needs, I think you can really stack up some other players here that can really fill some needs in the 3rd or 4th round, especially if you trade back in the 3rd round a little bit and are able to get it. So that makes a lot of sense. You can fill all of your needs potentially there. Worst case scenario, again, there's a run early on wide receivers, and that causes kind of the pendulum to swing, and the rest of these wide receivers go a little bit early. But I don't really foresee that happening with some of these guys. Kayshon Boutte there for the Ravens would make a lot of sense, as well as some of these other guys that I think would be a lot of fun, guys like Marvin Mims and all that. So, but that is it. That is our dream draft scenario for the Baltimore Ravens. Let us know what you guys think, and make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our dream draft scenarios for the Baltimore Ravens in the 2023 NFL Draft.